So I'm going to be changing my balance shaft seal. I got a NAPA kit. It's a kit number 6002666. It's a counterbalance shaft seal retainer kit. There was a technical service bulletin that came out on these a long time ago where you had to get this retainer put in, because what would happen is as the seal got old, the shaft would turn and wear on it, and it would catch, and then it would pop out and dump all your oil, and that's not a good time. Fortunately, this car has had that service before because there's a retainer here. It's held on by one 10mm bolt, and you take it off and you take the retainer off and you can get it to seal. I've got two different picks. I'm going to use these to fish it out and put the new one in. This is kind of one of the points, the reason why I refuse to use a balancer belt on this car. On straight 4 cylinders, it's very hard to keep them as balanced as possible because there's always going to be some sort of vibration going on. And the balance shafts were Honda's way of trying to minimize the vibration of the cab as much as humanly possible because it was a luxury car. So what they did is they put an adaptive rear motor mount on and these balance shafts to smooth it out as much as possible. So they're not actually mechanically needed, and with this being a flaw, I just don't use them. So once this seal goes in, it'll probably be forever till it gets changed again because it'll literally just have to get hard from temperature because it's not going to be turning. Very careful not to drop that bolt in the dipstick hole. That would not be good. Alright, old retainer's out. Ooh, that seal was extremely loose. Had that retainer not have been there, that would have popped out. That was crazy. I just tapped it and it flexed. Oh, this is going to be interesting. This was hard as a rock, and when it was in there, when I took the retainer off, I did this and it slid in real quick. Like that was ready to fall out. Okay, this seal already comes pre-greased. That's pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to need something big enough to push that on. To get this seal in, I wound up taking the top neck off of an Arizona tea bottle and putting it onto the shaft. It's perfect size to meet up with the seal. Pushed it on by hand, and then I had to take a small hammer and I had to put the head of the hammer onto the cap and kind of push against the frame, and what this did is it acted as a wedge to very carefully kind of push it around to get it seated. Okay, so here's the new retainer. I'm actually going to take the old retainer and clean it up. Feels a little bit stiffer than this one. They're pretty much the same exact thing, but I kind of feel good about this one being older. I don't know, just something that feels good about it. So I wiped off the old retainer. I'm going to put it back in. Alright, so that's in. Now I'm going to grab a pick. I'm going to fish out this O-ring for the oil pump for the dipstick tube. I'm going to switch it out. Here it is, and it's pretty hard. I'm actually going to go scrub this dipstick tube because it's nasty. So I got my dipstick tube cleaned up pretty well. Got the O-ring on it, ready to go. Perfect. Okay, so the NAPA seal will do for now. I'll probably install my Felpro seals that I have if I do any oil pump work later on. Now I just got to get the rest of this hooked back up so I can do a test start on this. And then we'll move on to wiring our VTEC in.